New Year to you as well.
Hello, Happy New Year.
Good afternoon. This is Judge Alyssa Perez, resuming the criminal docket for the 210th District Court for January 10th, 2023. All matters being heard today are being heard in accordance with all emergency orders and directives regarding COVID-19. In addition to that, we are streaming all matters live via YouTube for public viewing. Mr. Marufo, who's next?
Bottom of page 18, Judge. Annex, may we have Contreras Benjamin?
Yes, sir, coming right up.
What is that, Mr. Saucedo?
In the
one
flesh,
and only.
just for you, Mr. Underwood, just for you.
Thank
Wow.
God.
All right. Did we call it?
No, ma'am. In cause number 2021-0D0-1785, State of Texas versus Benjamin Contreras. Announcement of council, please.
Javier Salcedo and Eliana Elizalde for the state, ready to proceed.
Justin Underwood on behalf of Mr. Contreras, and we're ready to proceed, Judge. I see Mr. Contreras there in the Zoom window.
Yes, he is appearing remotely. We're scheduled today for a probation status hearing. Mr. Contreras has been in custody for 75 days. I don't recall, Mr. Underwood, if you were here at a previous hearing or if it was one of your associates, but I did see in the probation report, I think it was there, that there is a recommendation now of 3 TDC. I don't know, there was a lot of issues with compliance with your client. So have you had a chance to discuss that rec with him, or how are you wanting to proceed?
I think we were trying to get this, I think we had countered with 2 with the state, and we're waiting to hear back on them according to the notes.
In looking at the probation summary, I can tell you that that's where I was.
So we don't need to talk to the DA, just if that's what you're doing, that's what it is. So I guess we'll.
Well, I just wanted to get to the. I just wanted to kind of expedite things so I could let Mr. Salcedo know that the court is good with 2.
Okay. So yeah, so if the court is good with 2, if Mr. Saucedo, if you guys will offer that, I think we can talk to Mr. Contreras and figure out a common ground. It does not appear to me to be 3G offense, and so it seems like a drug case. And so I think if the court is okay with it, that's up to you guys, but don't make me be a bad guy on January 10th.
So I'm going to reset for a probation status hearing in 2 weeks.
Sure.
If your client is good to go and the paperwork gets circulated, anticipate that will be a plea of truth.
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Saucedo, if you guys are good with 2, just shoot us the paperwork. Mr. Contreras will come chat with you about what everything entails and how long you're looking at on a non-3G offense.
Okay, anything else?
Not from the state, Your Honor. I'll get with Mr. Underwood.
Okay.
Thank you very much,
I
gentlemen.
don't have anything else on Mr. Contreras.
Thank you, Mr. Contreras. Who's Mr. Underwood's next client?
Bottom of page 22, Judge.
Mhm.
Annex, may we have Taylor Frederick?
Yes, sir, coming right up.
Judge, are you speaking on Friday or on Saturday?
Friday right after lunch.
Oh,
I know.
well, I'll be there. I might have my sunglasses on, but I'll be there.
I heard a kind of like a groan from Mr. Underwood. Oh,
Yeah, I know.
That's because it's,
That's
you know,
okay.
it's after lunch. I mean, listen, I'm going because my friends are there. You know what I mean?
Is that Mr. Taylor? Yes, Mr. Taylor, is that you? Yes, okay. Audio is a little funky. Go ahead, Mr. Madu.
In cause number 2021-0D0-2596, State of Texas versus Frederick Elvis Taylor. Announcement of council, please.
Javier Salcedo and Eliana Elizalde for the state, ready to proceed.
Justin Underwood on behalf of Frederick Taylor, Judge, we're ready as well.
And Mr. Taylor is appearing remotely from the jail annex. We're set for probation status hearing. This looks like Mr. Taylor picked up a new family violence case. Mr. Salcedo, what's the status of that new case? Has it been filed? Is it indicted? I'll admit, I didn't look this one up, so I didn't check if there was,
It's,
I know there's a notation on the summary that, I guess, the CW had been in contact with probation and may have been contacting the DA's office. And the recommendation is to modify, for BIP and screen for the DV caseload.
Your Honor, the new family violence case occurred December 14th of 2022.
Got it.
So that case is fairly recent. So I don't believe it's made it to into our system yet.
Judge, I'm also, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut anybody off. I don't see it filed either, but I do want to follow up that the complaining witness on that case did bond him out on
Okay.
that. It's already, I mean, not that it's dispositive with this court, but just for the court's information, has already tendered a non-prosecution affidavit to us that obviously we'll be turning over to the screening department at the DA's office if we haven't already done that. But that's just to bring us all up to speed where we're at.
So what I think do we have any other issues? Carla, are you covering this one? I don't see anything else.
Your Honor, I apologize. I am actually chatting with his probation officer. I wanted to get a little more details as far as the alleged new offense. Because I did see something entered which wasn't mentioned on the summary, and I just wanted to bring it up. According to the offense report, it noted that he was intoxicated that evening or the day of that alleged assault. I know there's ongoing CPS. I just don't have details, Judge. His officer is barely getting back to me, but I know there are, phone calls with CPS. I just want to make sure. I don't want to provide the court with misleading information, but there is something going on with CPS.
How old is the child? Do we know?
I don't know, Judge. Hold on.
The child, I believe, Your Honor, is about to be a year old. She was born, and the date of birth that I have here on the protective order is 2/25/2000. I'm sorry, not 2002, but it's that's the Patricia Taylor. The child is.
Who's in the home? Or do they live together? CW and Mr. Taylor?
It looks like they were living together, Judge. So there is a protective order preventing Mr. Taylor from going back into the home.
Right.
And that's the emergency protective order, which will expire.
Okay.
And
Right. I don't think the one with the county attorney, I don't think they've applied for that.
Okay. So it's just the JMAG order? Is that what it is?
yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So for my purposes, the recommendation, as I mentioned from probation is, and I heard you, Carla, on the alcohol use, is to modify his probation to order BIP and screen for the DV caseload. My inclination is to go that route, Mr. Underwood, to also include a no offensive contact. And I put that there because it will also include, obviously, that he has to follow the protective order as long as it's in effect. Or once that expires, I still want no offensive contact with this complainant, I guess, or the child in a sense.
And Judge, I don't, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
And that he do BIP. So I'm good with that recommendation. I don't know where he's gonna live, but as long as, and I'm sure you've advised him, as long as that protective order is in place, you can't go to the residence, but for if you've requested that one-time thing for personal effects. And that is with a law enforcement escort. So you'll need to talk with your attorney on that. Are you good with that, Mr. Underwood?
I am good with that, Judge. I just need to clear something up. I did say that the CW bonded him out earlier. His mom is the one who actually bonded him out earlier, not the CW. The CW has been in our office though and signed a non-pros. I have the notarization. So Mr. Salcedo, if you want me to scan it and email it to you, I certainly can.
Where is he gonna live?
Mr. Taylor, do you have a place to stay?
Yes, sir. I'm staying with my mom on 4554 Hercules Avenue.
Okay, and that's not where the complainant lives, right?
No, sir. The complaint.
Okay, so he's gonna have to stay with mom for now.
Sure.
Certainly while the protective order is there. So that's gonna be the modifications and we can go ahead and let him out. So you're gonna have to do a class batter's intervention prevention class. It's intensive, it's long, it might be costly, Mr. Taylor, but we're gonna modify you here. Honestly, I don't know what's gonna happen, if there's gonna be a misdemeanor case or not. But I'll tell you, if it were something that we're going forward, you would be likely to have to take that class anyway. If there, we're also gonna screen for, no, we can, do we need, I'm good with releasing him today. Marissa, I don't need to wait for the mods, but Carla, please get me the mods quickly. So we do BIP, no offensive, and then screen for TAP. If we hadn't already screened him, we'll get him screened. And that's it for me. And follow the protective order. Your sub, obviously, that's going to be a condition of your
Mr.
probation.
Taylor, do you understand everything that the judge is telling you?
Yes, sir.
You understand you still have to report to probation as instructed, and now you're gonna have to take this class, but they are gonna release you, correct?
Yes,
sir.
okay. All righty, good to go. We're gonna do a probation review in 3 months.
Okay,
Okay,
yes, ma'am.
all right, let's see how things go. Mr. Taylor, no more issues.
Yes, ma'am.
Deal with your attorney and deal with your case, but I don't want any other complaints, because if I see any more complaints, you're not gonna be modified like this. You're gonna do something else. So please do your best, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Thank you, Mr. Underwood. Who's next?
Staying on page 22, Judge. Annex, may we have Cifuentes, Carlos Cifuentes?
Yes, sir. Coming right up.
Javier, do you want me to scan you and send you this non-pros, or do you want me to send it to screening?
You can send it to me and I'll forward it to someone that's screening so they can
Okay, cool.
attach it.
Okay, I'll send it. I'll have my staff send it in just a few minutes.
No problem.
All right, it's Mr. Cifuentes.
Yes, ma'am.
In cause number 2022-0D01212, State of Texas versus Carlos Alberto Cifuentes. Announcement of council, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas. State is ready. Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon.
Justin Underwood on behalf of Carlos Cifuentes, Judge, we're ready as well.
And Mr. Cifuentes is appearing from the jail annex remotely. We were set for a final status conference, but I think we were all anticipating that we were primarily going to discuss a new trial date, and I don't know if there's some other issues. We're set for trial on February 10th. Have you all talked about a trial reset date?
We haven't, Judge, not in the past, but obviously I don't think we will be ready. The last time that we were here, we also, and I had spoken with Mr. Cifuentes about this, I was trying to secure the availability of some experts, 2 particular experts. I have secured both of them. We did file our motions. I do think I need to provide the information for the ballistics expert to the court. I have contacted her. I have confirmed with her that she is available to help us. She has worked on cases in El Paso before. So what I will do is I'll file the order, or I'll refile the motion. We filed generic motions to ask for them, but I know the court needs specifics for the ballistics and for the expert for the handwriting, for the prints. It will be LJ Aguilar. I know the court is obviously familiar with Mr. Aguilar. They are an expert in handprint and fingerprint analysis. And so that will be the expert for that phase of it. The lady for the ballistics, she's called the Texas Bullet Lady. That's her business. That's really what she's called. Her real name is Jamie. I forget her last name, but she has worked with Mr. Spencer and Mr. Gutierrez, and she's worked on a lot of other cases throughout the state. So I feel very comfortable after speaking with her and reviewing her stuff to ask for her help in this matter.
Okay. So for now, I am going to leave the final hearing plea deadline setting just so we can revisit dates and square away that I have orders signed, all those kinds of things. So please talk about a new date, and then we will see how we can accommodate you in this year. What do you think? Let me ask, or what kind of turnaround do you think we're looking at? Are we looking at before summer?
I don't think so. Not with my ballistics expert, but that's my guess. I also don't know that the state has made any offers on this case yet. So,
okay.
Or if they're going to make an offer, or where
There
we're
will
at.
be There will be an offer, just one has not been made yet.
Okay, so we'll reconvene on the 7th of February and go from there.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sounds
Thank
good,
you,
Judge.
Mr. Cifuentes.
Yes, ma'am. And I'll
If
get
you-
you that info, Judge. I appreciate it.
Got it. Take care.
Good to see y'all. Bye, y'all.
See you. Who's next?
Top of page 22, Judge. Annex, may we have Joseph Rodriguez?
Sir, 1 second.
Judge, on Mr. Rodriguez, there is a robbery probation status, but we're just going to follow the more serious case, and we'll let that one dictate what happens with us.
All right, go ahead.
In cause number 2022-0D00564 and 2019-0D03583, State of Texas versus Joseph Rodriguez. Announcement of council, please.
Well, again, for the state of Texas, the state is ready.
Christopher Hernandez for Mr. Rodriguez. We're ready as well, Your Honor.
And Mr. Rodriguez is appearing from the jail annex remotely. We are scheduled for a status conference today. Give me 1 second. Okay. We are settled for a status conference. We're looking at status of testing, and that was the order I was just reviewing, and then to discuss a new trial date. So how are we doing, folks?
Your Honor, I have DPS still working on the testing portion. So that's still happening. So.
Okay, and I was just reviewing the order to make sure we hadn't attached some type of deadline or anything. No, it was just an order for the testing. And so what's the rec on Mr. Rodriguez's case?
Your Honor, it was 30 years TDC to run concurrent with the probation case.
Okay,
And that is also posted on portal, and that was conveyed November 28th, 2022.
okay. And so Mr. Hernandez, have you all, I feel like we were on the same page about going past this January trial date. So had you all discussed or have proposed new dates?
No, Your Honor. If we can get a couple proposed dates from the court, Ms. Pages isn't able to be here today. She has a doctor's appointment.
Mhm.
I'd hate to say something works and then, she has something said.
Mhm.
But if we can get a couple dates, myself and Ms. Pages, we can get with Ms. King and see what works for everybody.
So I'm going to leave the final hearing plea deadline for January 24th as is, understanding that we're not going on that January trial date. Myrna, would you please look for I'm trying to think, do we have a timeline or an idea of when this testing, I mean, this is all that's outstanding, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor, that is correct. We don't have a timeline. I know that it was sent out to Austin is where they do this testing, so it does take a little long. Past experience on a good case scenario, it's around 4 months, but it can be longer. So
I feel like I'm in the range of 6 or 7 months, but I'll rely on Mr. Hernandez to kind of look at our calendar, because these special settings really are kind of filling up quickly in that range. Like if it was sooner, but I know we can't do sooner with the issue of the testing. So maybe we can look 6 or 7 months out, and then I want to do a backup of January 2024 in the event that we don't make the first date. So Myrna, if you will get with Mr. Hernandez and Ms. King and shoot them off some potential dates, and then we will reconvene on the 24th. It'll give them a chance to, Mr. Hernandez, go speak with Ms. Pages and see what works. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Anything
Thank you.
else?
No, Your Honor. May we be excused?
You may. Thank you very much.
thank you, Judge.
Okay. Who's
Thank you.
next?
Bottom of page 20, Judge. Annex, may we have Gutierrez, Robert Gutierrez?
Yes, sir. 1 second.
Mr. Anchondo, you recognize your client?
I do, Judge.
Okay, thanks. Let's get started.
Cause number 2022-0D03582, State of Texas versus Robert Gutierrez. Announcement of council, please.
Javier Salcedo and Ileana Elizalde for the state, ready to proceed.
Christopher Anchona on behalf of Mr. Gutierrez. We are ready, Your Honor.
And Mr. Gutierrez is appearing from remotely from the jail annex. We are scheduled for a plea today. Mr. Gutierrez, is that your understanding of what we're doing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so in order to do that, I need to swear you in. Would you raise your right hand, please? Sir, do you swear or affirm that any testimony you provide will be the truth and the whole truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. You can put your hand down. Would you please state your name and date of birth for the record?
Robert Gutierrez, 09/13/1992.
Okay, Mr. Gutierrez, as I mentioned, we're scheduled for a plea in this case, so I need to ask you about documents you should have reviewed with your attorney, the first of which is marked as State's Exhibit number 1. Those are the plea papers in this case. Within that document, you're guaranteed certain rights, including the right to remain silent, the right to trial by jury, the right to counsel, the right to confront and cross-examine witnesses, and the right to call witnesses on your behalf and in your defense. Mr. Gutierrez, recall reviewing that document with your attorney and signing it.
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Did you understand everything contained within that document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Anchondo, did you have at least 10 days to prepare a defense in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you explain the plea papers to your client?
I did.
Do you believe he has understood the admonishments, rights, and consequences of giving up these rights by entering his plea today?
I do, Your Honor.
Mr. Gutierrez, are you satisfied with your attorney's representation of you?
Yes, Your Honor, I am.
Mr. Anchondo, any reason to believe your client is not presently competent to enter his plea?
None whatsoever, Your Honor.
Mr. Gutierrez, have you ever been found mentally incompetent by any court?
No, Your Honor.
Ever been examined by a doctor or psychiatrist who has found you mentally ill?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so based on your testimony, your attorney's representations, and my observations of you, I'm going to find that you are competent to enter your plea. Sir, are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, where were you born?
El Paso, Texas, Providence Hospital.
Okay, so in this case, you're charged by indictment with the state jail felony offense of possession of a controlled substance in penalty group 1 in an amount less than 1 gram. Sir, to that charge, what is your plea? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Are you making your plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
I will find you are making your plea freely and voluntarily. Mr. Salcedo, would you summarize the evidence, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Had the state proceeded to trial, the state would have proven beyond a reasonable doubt that on or about the 6th day of August, 2021, in the county of El Paso, in the state of Texas, Robert Gutierrez, the defendant, did then and there intentionally or knowingly possess a controlled substance, namely methamphetamine, having an aggregate weight, including adulterant or dilutant, in the amount of less than 1 gram. And at this time, the state would offer State's Exhibit number 1, which is the plea agreement, Exhibit number 2, which are the 3914 disclosures, and Exhibit number 3, which is the waiver of appeal.
Objections, Your Honor.
Without objection, states 1 and 2 are admitted. Let me stop because I think Marissa and I must be on the same wavelength. What is happening with the case ending 5492?
Your Honor, I had just made a dismissal on that particular case.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm sorry, had you stated the rec in this case, Mr. Salcedo? I'm sorry.
Not yet, Your Honor.
Okay, what is the rec?
The recommendation is 6 months confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice Correctional Institutions Division, the state jail facility, with no period of community supervision, that he received credit for time he has served. And we have submitted a dismissal for cause number 2022-0D05492.
Okay, Mr. Anchondo, is that your understanding of the plea agreement?
That is, Your Honor.
And Mr. Gutierrez, is that your understanding as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I understand that the plea agreement is not binding on the court. However, if I were to reject it, I would allow you to withdraw your plea. If I follow the plea agreement, you may not appeal this case except on matters raised by written motion and ruled on before trial or by permission of the court. The next document I'm going to ask you about is a 1-page document entitled The Trial Court Certification of Your Right to Appeal. It is a document that explains your appeal rights. Because this is a plea bargained or negotiated case, you do not have an automatic right of appeal. Gutierrez, do you recall reviewing the trial court certification with your attorney and signing that document?
Yes, Your Honor.
It was signed by your attorney and signed by the court as well. So on your plea of guilty and the evidence introduced, I will accept your plea and at this time find the evidence substantiates your guilt. We'll find you guilty of the offense of possession of a controlled substance in penalty group 1 in an amount less than 1 gram, and I will sentence you according to the plea agreement to 6 months confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice State Jail facility. You will receive credit for any and all time that you have served. I will also be signing a dismissal in cause number 2022-0D05492. Is there anything further, Mr. Saucedo or Mr. Anchondo?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor. Thank you.
Nothing further from the defense, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Anchondo. Good luck to you, Mr. Gutierrez.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
You may take care. Who's next?
On page 19, Judge. Annex, we have Cruz. Jose Cruz.
Is that Mr. Cruz?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Okay. All righty. Let's
Oh,
get started.
I believe so. I'm sorry, maybe I should.
In cause
That is
number,
Mr. Cruz, Judge. And I don't know if we have an interpreter on, Judge. He's a Spanish speaker only.
Okay, so let's get an interpreter. Let's move on to the next one, Marfo.
yes, Judge. On top of page 20. Annex, may we have Guerrero?
Does he need an interpreter?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Guerrero, is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead, Marfo.
In cause number 2022-0D02752 and 2022-0D02365, State of Texas versus Jesus Manuel Guerrero. Announcement of council, please.
Preston Munson for the state on 2022-0D02752. Stage ready.
And Javier Salcedo for the state on cause number 2022-0D02365. Ready as well, Your Honor.
Rick Huffman on behalf of Mr. Guerrero. We are ready, Your Honor.
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to do too many things at the same time. Mr. Guerrero, in each of these cases, you are set for a plea. Is that your understanding of what we're doing today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so in order to do that, I need to swear you in. Would you raise your right hand, please? Sir, do you swear or affirm that any testimony you provide will be the truth and the whole truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. You can put your hand down. Sir, would you state your name and date of birth for the record?
Jesus Manuel Guerrero, date of birth, December 18, 2002.
Okay. Mr. Guerrero, in each of these cases, you're charged with felonies, different degree felonies. And as we're set for a plea, there were documents you should have reviewed with your attorney. In each case, there was a state's exhibit number 1. Those are the plea papers. In each of these cases, within those documents, you're guaranteed certain rights, including the right to remain silent, the right to trial by jury, the right to counsel, the right to confront and cross-examine witnesses, and the right to call witnesses on your behalf and in your defense. Mr. Guerrero, do you recall reviewing the plea documents with your attorney and signing those documents?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you understand everything contained within those documents?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Huffman, have you had more than 10 days to prepare defenses in each of these cases?
Yes, I have, Your Honor.
And did you explain the plea papers to your client?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has understood the admonishments, rights, and consequences of giving up these rights by entering his pleas today?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Mr. Guerrero, are you satisfied with your attorney's representation of you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Huffman, any reason to believe your client is not presently competent to enter his pleas?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Guerrero, have you ever been found mentally incompetent by any court?
No, Your Honor.
Ever been examined by a doctor or psychiatrist who has found you mentally ill?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So based on your testimony, your attorney's representations, and my observations of you, I'm going to find that you are competent to enter your pleas today. Sir, are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Where were you born?
Here in El Paso.
In El Paso, Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in cause number 2022-0D02752, you were charged with 4 counts of the 3rd-degree felony offense of smuggling of persons. As to each of these counts, what is your plea? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Guilty on each of these counts, Mr. Guerrero?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And in cause number 2022-0D02365, count 1, you were charged with the offense, the 1st-degree felony offense of aggravated robbery. To that charge, what is your plea? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
And as to count 2, you were charged with burglary of habitation with the intention to commit some other felony, 1st-degree felony as well. To that charge, sir, what is your plea? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Are you making all of these pleas freely and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
I will find you are making your pleas freely and voluntarily. Let's see, Mr. Munson, you go first. Summarize the evidence, please.
This case, if 2022-0D02752 would have proceeded to trial, the state of Texas would have proven beyond a reasonable doubt on or about 23rd day of May 2022 in the county of El Paso, state of Texas, Jesus Manuel Guerrero did then and there knowingly use a motor vehicle to transport individuals, namely Byron Alexander Guatana Cuyo, Jaziel Gaspar Quesada, Washington Paul Puli Tinizaka, and Osvaldo Andrews Villa, with the intent to conceal the complaints from a peace officer. Move to admit States Exhibit 1, the plea papers, and the 3914.
No objection, Your Honor.
States 1 and 2 are admitted. And I guess, Mr. Munson, I'll hear the rec on your end. I think they're the same, right?
Yes, Your Honor, it's 10 years deferred. It's 10 years deferred. UAs and BAs curfew 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. $1,000 fine, 400 hours of community service, and run concurrent with the other case.
Okay, Mr. Salcedo, you want to go ahead and summarize on your case, please?
Yes, Your Honor. As to cause number 2022-0D02365, had the state proceed to trial, we would have proven beyond a reasonable doubt that on or about the 12th day of June, 2022, in the Canovo Pass in the state of Texas, Jesus Manuel Guerrero did then and there, while in the course of committing theft of property and with the intent to obtain or maintain control of their property, to wit, a motor vehicle keys, he intentionally, knowingly threatened or placed Brian Sanchez in fear of imminent bodily injury or death, and the defendant did then and there use or exhibit a deadly weapon, to wit, a firearm, to wit, a rifle. And it is further presented that the said defendant used and exhibited a deadly weapon, to wit, a firearm, during the commission of an immediate flight from said offense. As to count 2, the state would have proven beyond a reasonable doubt that on or about the 12th day of June, 2022, in the county of El Paso and state of Texas, Jesus Manuel Guerrero did then and there, with the intent to commit a felony offense of aggravated robbery, he entered a habitation without the effective consent of Brian Sanchez, the owner thereof. And it is further presented that the said defendant used and exhibited a deadly weapon, to wit, a firearm, to wit, a shotgun or a pellet rifle, that in the manner of its use and intended use was capable of causing death and serious bodily injury during the commission of and immediate flight from said offense. And at this time, the state would offer State Exhibit number 1, which is the plea agreement, Exhibit number 2, the 3914.
No objection, Your Honor.
States 1 and 2 will also be admitted. I'm sorry, Mr. Salcedo, the rec on that.
The recommendation, Your Honor, in this particular case is 10 years community supervision under deferred adjudication, a $1,000 fine, 400 hours of community service, UABA, curfew, no contact with the complainant, Brian Sanchez, anger management, no contact with co-defendants, Herman Gallegos, Aileen Hernandez, and that this case run concurrent with cause number ending in 2752.
So I'll tell you right now, Mr. Huffman, I don't know, maybe my notes were abbreviated, so I'm not sure that I saw these conditions, but as we've gone through, a condition that the court is going to require is that he possess no firearms or ammunition. So I don't know if you need to discuss that with your client, but he can't possess anything like it. So if in the home, anybody's got anything, that kind of thing. Okay.
Judge, could I just have maybe 10, 15 seconds with him in the breakout room?
Yes.
I
Get off
don't
of
think that's an